Stupid. Ah, problems! Yay, the play spot. I am Kamurai.
Hey guys, I'm Syd Kam.
Yep, I got a special guest with me this week. Hopefully we can make this more of a regular thing. I don't know how much she enjoys me having to deal with all the technical stuff every week, but... And we crashed.
I understand.
This broadcast is appropriate for all ages, right here on the watch spot, or play spot. Crap. 2 times in a row I messed it up. 2 times. I am Kamurai.
Hey guys, I'm Syd Kam.
We are here today talking about games and things and stuff we've been playing. Syd is a special guest that comes on here every now and again, and I want this to be more of a regular thing, but I don't know how much she can deal with me dealing with the technical issues.
The technical issues, they are a drag, but gaming, so worth.
I would agree. Now, I think I just froze you on the stream by minimizing Skype, so we're not going to do that. See, we're learning. But I can minimize OBS to try to stop whatever problems happen. I feel good, though, because I want to save Minecraft for the end, but like I did manage to stream a 1-hour session and a 2-hour session with no crashes.
Awesome.
So I feel better about that, and that was because of driver issues that we updated. NVIDIA finally put out stuff. I guess they saw a month's worth of crashes from me and was just like, oh, his life sucks. But Syd, I'd love to start with you. What have you been playing?
All right, so I went to PAX on Monday of last week, so a week ago tomorrow, and saw a bunch of really cool stuff. I went and checked out the Fallout 4 booth, which was probably what I was most excited about. I love Fallout, and just in preparation for that coming out later this year, I decided to start playing Fallout New Vegas again. I got about like halfway through it, or like a quarter of the way through it before, and I kind of got lost, and so I just sort of stopped playing. And so I just kind of started over again because the game was being kind of glitchy and whatever else. So I just ended up starting it over again. So I'm playing that. I also bought a game.
Real quick on Fallout, because I want to expand on something. Now, I've heard that Fallout is very different from the other Fallout games, and you just said that you were a fan of the entire franchise. And I know the PC ports are typically pretty good. Is that where you play?
Yes, I play on PC. I play pretty much everything on PC.
We approve, but my point was, is it really as different as like I've heard about? Or explain Fallout to people who don't know what it is, because I've never actually played. I know a lot about it.
So specifically Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas are the ones that I've played. I haven't played the original Fallout, but probably should at some point. Basically, it's kind of like this post-apocalyptic setting where a lot of the times you end up being this person who, like in Fallout 3, you're the daughter of this scientist that's, been stuck in a vault for after the, apocalypse thing kind of occurred. You're coming out of the vault.
The vault's like a safety dome?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then you're just kind of exploring the world outside of that. You come across different factions that you can, attempt to either gain favor with, or if you gain favor with a different faction, then it's kind of against that other faction. It's kind of interesting because you go around and it's super easy to become like hoarder in Fallout because you can pick stuff up off of pretty much anything. Dead bodies, just random stuff you find in abandoned houses, and it's just all sorts of random things. And some of it has uses and some of it doesn't. From what I heard at PAX about Fallout 4 is that pretty much everything in the universe is going to have some kind of use.
Okay.
So that will be cool.
The way you were describing it before, it sounded like Skyrim, like where people are just hoarding broomsticks for no reason.
Yes, totally. I mean, and I was going to start, I have Skyrim too, and I need to play that as well because it totally kind of gave me the same vibe. The thing with me is like I'm really bad at like when I shoot stuff. So what's nice about Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas is they have this system called VATS, and it's like visual auto targeting system or something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. People are gonna be mad. It's alright. But anyways, basically what it does is it pauses the screen and allows you to select a part of the target that you want to shoot. And it has like a percentage of what has a better chance of making the.
We're gonna start the stream, but I think my file is gonna be dead. So hey, we're back. It just crashed for a second there, but Sid, you were in the middle of talking about the VAT system.
Oh yes. So basically, it pauses the screen. It kind of pauses you in the moment, and lets you select a target. So if there's multiple targets, you can choose which enemy target you want to focus on. You can you can choose like what part of their body you want to shoot at, whether it's their head or their arm or whatever else.
It's like a sniper's dream.
Yeah, and it has like percentages on what has a better chance of hitting and that sort of thing. So I like that. It's a little bit easier.
Yeah, I say that sounds like a baby mode almost.
Yeah, I mean I guess it makes it a little less challenging. I'm sure.
No, that's fine. Is it? And you have an option to turn that off for people who are more experienced?
Oh yeah, I mean it's something that you can select specifically. You can shoot anything without using that function.
Okay, good. That's having options in the game is never wrong. There's a lot of things that like people are like, well, why did they do that? But if it was an option you could turn on or off, then great. Like I would love to design a game where it's like you can turn monsters off, like kind of like a Minecraft setup almost. Like you just configure it however you want to play the game, and you play it. And if you didn't get a good experience out of it, it's probably because of how you set it. If you set it to the factory recommendations, then you'll probably have the experience that was designed. Yeah. Real quick before we move on to your other thing, Fallout Shelter, is that a thing you've been playing?
I'm meaning to download it. When I was at the Fallout booth at PAX, they gave me a little card so that I could get like some free lunch boxes or whatever. I don't know what that is, but
they're the equivalent to Hearthstone packs.
Okay.
Like you get like guns and weapons and supplies out of them.
Like actually, as we speak of that, I'm gonna download it right now because I've been meaning to and I just forget.
If I could reach my phone, I'd do it too, because I think that'd be a good thing. Like we both try it out for like a week and then come back and talk about it. Because someone who hasn't played the franchise and someone who has played the franchise, and even if we go 2 weeks, I think that'd be good. Okay, so I will download it and try to play it some, because it is out for Android now. Yeah. Yay. Okay, so you had something else you were going to segue into before I rudely cut you off.
Oh, no, PAX is very busy, obviously.
Yes.
Even on a Monday. Even though this past one was not on Labor Day weekend like it normally is, there's still a lot of people there on Monday. And so chances of getting the opportunity to play a game that is like well-known stuff that's coming out was really bad. Like a lot of the lines were just totally full. You couldn't even get in line, and so I ended up wandering around into the indie game section and stumbled across like a puzzle game type thing, and actually there was an open controller and the guy's like, you want to play? And I was sure, why not? And I have a little card here. It's called Tumblestone.
Tumblestone, okay.
Yeah, there's the links there too if anybody's interested in checking
Hopefully
it out.
that comes out clear enough on the QR code. But
I know, I'm like, ooh, will that work? I don't know. Closer.
it's you shaking, I think, more than like being close, because most of the cameras. Yeah, I think you're good. It'll either be good or it won't.
Yeah. Anyway, the mode that I played at PAX was like on a console, and it was like a 4-player mode where it was sort of similar to kind of like your Tetris or like a Dr. Mario.
Okay.
Or kind of like something along that lines where you're trying to clear lines before the other person does, or in a marathon.
Was it the thing where like if you clear your lines, it does bad stuff to other people?
The mode that I was playing specifically was just, it was like a race, like whoever cleared their lines the fastest.
Okay.
it has a bunch of other modes too. I just played a single player one on my computer because I downloaded it when I got this. It was a Steam code for before it actually releases because it doesn't release until later this year. And I bought the Steam code so that I could actually play it now. Storage almost full. Oh my gosh. It's not happy with me about that Fallout Shelter download. Anyway, so it's kind of fun. I would think it's probably not for everybody, but if you kind of are into puzzle games or if you like that nostalgic type Tetris,
I'd suggest it for match 3 players as well. Those type of games seem to line up really well together, and I know like Marvel Puzzle Fighter is like a really popular one, and that's immediately what I thought of when you were describing it. So okay, so that's good. Like, I was curious about like how many people actually showed up because like Rooster Teeth was talking about it. They were afraid a lot of people weren't going to show up and it was going to hurt the vendors. Did you manage to actually buy anything like when you were out there? Like, I know you messaged me about a couple board games.
Yeah, I didn't end up buying any of the board games. I did check out a bunch of stuff that was there that I thought was kind of interesting, but considering I don't have anybody to really play board games with at the moment, buying board games didn't seem like the best use of my money, unfortunately.
I think we need to hook you in on Tabletop Simulator. If you've got, I think it's airing out. Instead of crashing my computer, it's just crashing itself now. So that's good. I'm actually happy with that solution. That's just really sad. Okay, streaming. So however this gets compiled on YouTube, we'll deal with it like that. I apologize. I can't apologize enough. But Tabletop Simulator. Okay, just waiting to see if that was what was crashing it. Some friends of mine have been talking, and I contributed a copy over to the Weird Lanes, so that their board game Persona Mary, the Knitting dev, can start doing like a weekly Weird Lanes board game night. And I wanted to start doing something similar as well. Whether or not I'm doing something with them or through them, that's another matter entirely. But what I really want to do is figure out how to do like an Iron Kingdoms campaign on the internet. And that's what I wanted to get you and our other guests from last week, Kevin, and probably his wife. And then maybe like we'd start there, and if we want to add someone else in later on in the campaign, great. That would be really nice, but I got to learn it all properly, and I just really found where to start reading today, because I know the world pretty well, I know the mechanics pretty well, but like the first page for a DM is on page 197. So that's a really awkward place to start reading.
That is strange.
Because like up at the beginning of that, there's a lot of fluff, and then there's a lot of character stuff. So if you are someone who's a player, that's where you start reading, is in the character stuff. And then the fluff's at the beginning so that it's not in the way for the rest of the book. That's the thing there. So if you just go to random pages, you're lost until you look at the table of contents and you're like, oh, this is where I should probably start because I'm a player and or DM. So yeah, so I really am excited about that. And so the only thing that's going to hamper that really is if I get brag. But if I opt in to do a short D&D campaign with some of the Weirdlings, because I'm going to talk to them about it this week. I'm looking at modules for Tabletop Simulator. I think it's a good way to do that. The other way we could do it is with Vassal, vassalengine.org. It's a free thing where you can play board games and stuff through there. It's not 3D, it's 2D, but they've got some very interesting modules, and it's actually, I know it because you can play War Machine on it. And I would love to actually play some War Machine on there again one day, because it's cheaper than doing physical models, and I can't get a video game version that I can pay for, because War Machine Tactics is not that, and I need to talk about something else. So, but Syd, so you would be open to doing like board games and or a RPG online, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we just got to get you to actually do a schedule, because I know if we don't lock you down, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna have an adventure. Sydney Longstockings. Um, anything else from PAX that you want to talk about?
There was some Magic the Gathering stuff going on there. I sat in on a panel where they did some world building for Battle of Zendikar, which is the next set that's coming out October 2nd. And it was really cool to hear the backstory and have them talk about the art for the upcoming set. And I'm really excited for that set. And everybody that I know who does Magic at work is also very excited for it. We're probably going to go buy lots of boxes and open lots of packs, and it's going to be amazing.
Sounds like a good time for Magic the Gathering players. I have a standing feud with Wizards at this point. I need to sell off my Magic the Gathering cards.
You should just mail me your Magic the Gathering cards.
I honestly, I've thought about it, but like, I'd have to at least get shipping out of you.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that you've got stuff that's probably like worth money.
It's not like anything great. Like if the guy, now I tried to sell it to somebody and then he complained because there was a section of cards that were damaged. Like I had been looking through it with somebody after storage, and I had said, well, just throw those away, and they didn't do it, and so they sat in the box. And so the guy was upset, and he actually managed to get a refund through eBay against me. So like it's just stupid. So he may have just stole all the valuable cards. I haven't gone back through it yet. But the most valuable stuff I had in there were slivers. Like I had Mox Diamonds and Sliver Queens, which I think are $30 damaged. Like that's the low price on TCP Player or TC Player. And my stuff's well played. It's from 98, 99, and forward. So I've got a couple things older than that, but those are cards I picked up specific. So they're probably the more valuable ones, honestly. There was something for Magic the Gathering. Oh, that's what it was. Jen, one of the weirdlings, was she normally does Dominion of Esselend, which we went live this morning on twitch.tv/.geek. But she was at Tacticon in Colorado, which is funny that it was Labor Day weekend. And she was playing with Chris Tulloch. Does that name ring a bell? He's like the director of D&D for Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that was a cool little note in gaming stuff. Okay, anyways, anything else from PAX before I jump into Steam games?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so much at PAX. Lots of really cool stuff, but that's all that I can probably share just based off of what I experienced the small amount of time that I was there.
Yeah, because you only went the one day, right? They did a lot of cool stuff. You showed me some cool pics. Okay, so real quick, let's jump through some of these Steam games. As you probably know, Sid, hopefully, and everyone else who has watched my crap, I've been going through and trying to identify games that I own for whatever reason. Like, so I don't know why I own them or anything. So I go to figure out what they are. I call them blind plays, which is, I think, suitable. The first one I want to talk about real quick is Sacred Tears True. It's an RPG Maker game. Like, it's very obvious that it is. They had a neat mechanic. It uses a card system to do battles. So, like, you've got a deck, and you draw out 7 cards, and you pick 3 to do battle with. I think that's what it is. And then they pick 3, and then you reveal and see what it is. And the higher numbers win, but there's attack cards, defense cards, evade cards, and magic cards, and then special attack cards. So the higher number wins, but then it resolves whatever effect the card is. I can't tell you how much I like the system because it wouldn't let me add it. Like, you have one battle at the very beginning, and then you have the options to get into a couple of fights. And I opted out of them because they were the better decisions to me. But it's a lot of, like, I'm going to take you to this cutscene, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's, it takes you out of game a lot. Yeah, and so it breaks the immersion. And so I played, I don't know, I kept taking calls in the middle of it because I wasn't enjoying the game. So it looks like a little less than an hour, maybe, let's see, 20, 50. So we've been a little under an hour playing that. And I just didn't like it. I actually, it's the first time I think I've ever done that. I switched camera views and I went to like just the one where I'm big blown up, and I just started talking to the creators of the game. Like, this is not how you make this. Here's why. So, not that they'll ever see it, but fuck. I really hope their next game's good, because they definitely had the idea and they executed. So it's hard to like knock that. But they didn't let me play their game while I played the game, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
So that was my big problem with that, was just trying to play their game. And then I did Sun Age Battle for Elysium. If you are an RTS fan, I think this is definitely one you should check out. Very similar to Fallout. It's a post-apocalyptic world. The I keep saying Terrans, but the humans have started building domes to protect from radiation. So they have their little societies in there, and the domes have started to fail. And then as they started to fail, the people who were left outside the dome became mutants. So I think they call themselves the Raccoon. So the Raccoon have started attacking these domes that are failing. So at the point where you enter the game, there's one dome left, and you're part of the Federocracy or whatever it's called. So you have to help defend the dome and fight off the Raccoon, and the Raccoon have actually started infiltrating the dome. Like, that's your first battle, is like, this is the only thing that's going to keep you guys alive. Oh, and look, it's under attack.
So wait, what's this called again?
Sun Age Battle for Elysium. It is available on Steam. I have no idea where this game came from. I don't know if it's something I heard on the Co-optional podcast. I don't know if I got it in a Humble Bundle. But it's an RTS. It's some of the key binding stuff's a little funny, but I think it's really good. And they put a lot of work into the what do you call it? The campaign. I played through the first one, and I took my time at it. Because I was trying to figure out some of the controls and how to do this and that. So that was about an hour 17 to get through the first chapter. But if you played a lot quicker, you probably do it in a half hour. I was exploring things. I was like, how big an army can I make? Because it really feels like if you throw enough guys at the problem, you win in those, at least in that first mission. And then I was trying to like play with like the different things. My favorite thing was that the infantry had a sniper mode, so you could actually make them take a knee, and they had an extended range. Which is fun because when the guys are moving in on you, they get shot to shit before they can get you in range.
Nice.
Okay, so that was Sun Age. The Swapper. I looked at the art for this when I went to go make the thumbnail, because now I can do the thumbnail before I play. And I was like, what the hell is this? This is not going to be good. I don't like this. It's a puzzle. It looks like a platformer. I don't know what's going on. So I got in there, and I immediately changed my mind once I got hold of the controls. Now, the thing I don't like, I did use the controller, but you use left stick to move. I don't know why I'm holding the controller. And then you use this one to actually aim your targeting point. Which is, yes, that's exactly what it was. But it makes sense mechanically a lot, because you get a gun that lets you clone things. Other than what I just said, it plays like Super Metroid. Okay, back up. So, it plays like Super Metroid. The doors even look similar. Like, they open and close similarly. It's a very dark, debilitated world. You're running around trying to find these orbs to activate consoles and other devices in the space station. And the gun that you get is not like a gun, it clones you. So you can throw clones places, and then the clones do whatever you do. Like, if you walk to the right, they walk to the right. Um,
Interesting.
and then the swapping part is that you can actually bounce back and forth between the clones. So if you need to go up, you can just make a clone above you, and then zap the clone, and then you become that clone, and then you can make another clone above you there, and zap that clone, and actually climb via clone all the way to where you need to go.
Sounds kind of like a Portal type thing.
Yeah, it's like Portal meets Super Metroid.
Okay. Okay.
It's such a strange thing, but it's really good. And the puzzles, at least in the first couple areas that I explored, I played about 40 minutes, were really good. They were clean cut. They taught you. If you learn nothing else from a puzzle game from Portal, it's that keep teaching the person by application. It's like you need them to do a thing, have them require them to do that to pass the level, and like the briefest explanation so that they can figure it out themselves.
Oh, okay. All right.
That would be my my suggestion there. I really thought I played Minecraft. I played a bunch of Minecraft, so I'll come back to that last. My last Steam game I want to talk about is Spellforce, and I had no idea what the actual title was because on Steam it's Spellforce Platinum, so that's what I thought it was. But it turns out it's Spellforce. It's the Spellforce franchise, the Platinum Collector's Edition. That's what it actually means. So it's the game is Spellforce Order of the Dawn, but there's 2 expansions built into this. The one I have, and this is another RTS style. So I was like, oh, another one of these. I wonder if this will be any different because it looks a lot. It actually looks and feels a lot like Diablo, but you can zoom in and treat it like WoW, like that perspective.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, so that was interesting because you have a main character. It's very much like Warcraft 3, now that I think about it. You have a main character, and then you can activate these monuments because, like you can activate these monuments and summon heroes and recruits from these monuments to fight for you. So in the first mission, you activate a human monument, and you can recruit foot soldiers and crossbowmen and workers. So it plays almost exactly like Warcraft 3, minus some nuances here and there, but you're fighting goblins that have taken over this pass, and you liberate this town, and then you go into the town and you shop by right-clicking on merchants. And it's actually a really neat idea. It's just an old enough game that it would crash when I would alt-tab out of it to talk to somebody, like on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
And there's no option for the borderless window, or the windowed mode, or... Yeah, and that was the problem on Battle for Elysium, was that when I used the windowed mode, I couldn't scroll down with the mouse. Like, I couldn't drag it down. I could move right, and I could move up, but if I moved left, my mouse, I think, would go out of the window, and then, so it wouldn't do it, but it would still drag left a little bit, so I could hold it there. But when I went down, I couldn't scroll down with it. I had to use the keyboard, so I ended up going full windowed, and then I ended up using the keyboard anyways for most of it. So, but the Spellforce, it was very much like that. I was moused and I could use the WASD on that. That was the other. That's why I had the issue, because on Sun Age I couldn't use the WASD keys. I think I could use JKL and semicolon.
Oh.
Yeah, not good. But I couldn't use the WASD, and I could use that on Spellforce, and then I could pop up to like the 1, 2, and 3s for the hotkeys. The problem I had with Spellforce, other than it crashing, that's just a technical time difference thing, that's not a big deal, was that when you go through portals, you leave everything you had behind. So if you have 20, 30 foot soldiers... Okay, streaming. Okay, hey, so we had a blank spot there, because I don't know where we died. Because I'm not a very good host, apparently. We're going to work on that and get better. That's what we're saying there. But, and I don't have this there, so I'm going to add this in. And I'm going to talk about Minecraft for a minute, because we said, while I'm doing this, will you talk about the games we just talked about? Like what we just discussed?
Yeah, so it was just, you were mentioning some of the games that you were playing. You mentioned the one that has like the clones, and you can like toss like with the weapon that you have, just tosses out a new clone basically of switch between the clones?
Yeah, that's the swapper is what I was talking about there.
Yeah, and it got me thinking about Portal. It sounded kind of like Portal, and then got to talking about all the games that I have on Steam that I haven't played yet, which includes Portal and Portal 2, and
You need to get some exercise, and you need a game controller. That's what you need too, because
yes.
like I respect mouse and keyboard for FPS, but like Portal, to me it just feels better with a controller, because it's not something where you have to kill each other as fast as you can.
Okay.
Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna yak on about Minecraft for just a minute here. I cannot do the screen capture I want to do, so this is what I got. I can't. Yeah, I can cover up Syd. Yay. Okay. Is that what it looks like? Okay, so real quick, I need the pencil, not that thing. So real quick, I've got track lane here. Come on, draw. Draw for me, baby. What are you doing? Can I draw on you? No. It won't let me draw, Syd. It won't let me draw.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You're a liar.
I was drawing on myself. There you go.
What in the crazy crap-tastic... Maybe I should have pulled up the project. Maybe that's what I should have done, huh?
Maybe.
Okay. Is that going to work too? Pick red. How about that? No? Syd, it just doesn't love me like you do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alright, so if I look at the layers... Okay, I think I'm on a text layer or something. Can I just... Lines, okay. Nope. Okay. Instead of looking like a complete imbecile for this, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to draw. Okay, so I'm just going to point and grunt, and so we can end this. So I've got track lane like here, and I've got track lane here. Syd, I don't know, you can't see my screen, can you?
No.
I'm hesitant to try to do that. But for the people at home, I've got track lane here, and I've got track lane like all the way around this corner. So I've just got this one little stretch to get one lane done, and then we can go do a second round here, and we can do a round here on the orange line. And I feel really good about that. There's a little dungeon at Vale that is mostly secure. I feel really happy about. Magic Mountain has one that we've been clearing out. Plus, we found like a temple thing with like stone bricks and mossy bricks and stuff all around. I feel really good about that. And then, of course, the moorlands are where we need to be digging for, like, after we get done in these other places, because these other places are going to have more iron, which is what we need to do the tracks, but the moorlands are going to have the precious metals, the titanium, the steel, things like that, and that's what we can use for weapons. Alright, so we're going to, yeah, discard the changes that don't exist. Stupid. Alright, so, Syd, is there anything you would like to plug, or anything before we go?
Not that I can think of.
So she has been the lovely and oh so gracious Syd Kam to put up with me. We may just start doing this as a hangout, just so you don't have to deal with all the technical issues until they stop. Because they will eventually stop. But I love you, Syd. I am Kamurai. You can watch me on YouTube at things. I'm just going to say Jam on Toast 528 is where I've been doing my bad summaries thing for these RPG shows. I'm slowly getting caught up. I'll get there eventually. Bear with me. And then an HTKB is my personal thoughts and vlogs channel, which I don't feel like I've had enough to deal with, but that's where I've been doing experiments with Fire Talk and You Now and things like that. And I think my frame... Like I said, we've been having issues, so I'm going to say goodbye here. Thank you all for watching. If you watch this horrible train wreck, Syd, thank you again so much.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.